Welcome to Your Biz, Your Rules with Dara Paddy, the podcast here to help you weave the perks and quirks of your personality into your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss another episode. Now let's get to it. Hello everyone and welcome back to Your Biz, Your Rules. I'm back today with another interview, and this time it's with yet another brilliant mastermind sister of mine, Justina Rosu. Now, Justina is basically a goddess of all things video. She creates the video, she knows how to market the video, she knows how to do all of that video wang that most of us really struggle with. But please, Justina, introduce yourself properly.
Hi, thank you very much for having me on. I'm really happy to be here. I'm very excited. I'm loving your podcast show. It's brilliant. So I hope I can be of help to your listeners. So that was a lovely introduction, video goddess. and that's it, indeed. It's everything pretty much to do with video I can help with. So my background was television production. And then 4 years ago, I set up my own company doing video production, so corporate video. And obviously that then took me into the world of doing video specifically for social media and marketing. So yeah, I've taken that swing right round doing all kinds of videos and helping small businesses. So everything now being so... video haven't taken off so much, which was predicted, but I think it's still a bit of a shock then to actually see it coming to life, and everyone needing to get onto video. And so being there for whichever platform people want to be on, understanding the differences, the huge difference between the types of video that you need across your business as well. So I pretty much do all of that, from helping train small businesses to working with big brands and with big entrepreneurs who want to be filmed and don't want to have to do all of their own filming. So that whole spectrum.
Wow, I can't wait to start picking your brains, because this is absolutely not my zone of genius. I avoid being on camera wherever possible, so I'm quite interested to take away some big lessons from this.
Excellent. I'm sure I'll be able to help you and your listeners with anything you think they might want to know. I'm pretty sure I will be able to help. So fingers crossed.
Great. Well, my first question is to do with YouTube specifically. So I know quite a few business owners who, they do create video and they upload it to YouTube, but they don't sort of do it with any kind of strategy or any kind of plan. It's just like, oh, I'll film a video and put it on. For those of us who are looking to develop an ass-kicking YouTube channel, what can we do? What do you recommend?
Yeah, brilliant question, because YouTube is still, although every platform now supports video and is encouraging video, YouTube is still, even though it has its issues with the advertisers and things going a little bit off plan, but they are still the daddy of video. It's a place that if you haven't already started leveraging it, it's definitely something for you to start thinking about to get into in 2018. And so if that's on your mind, then I would say there's 3 really important things that you want to make sure you get right. And so the first one is that you actually make your channel look like it's a operational channel, like it's living and breathing, and it's not just a place where you've kind of thrown all your videos because you don't know where else to put them, or you're just using it as that holding place to link the videos to somewhere else, which a lot of people use their channel for. So to do that, you want to pay attention to your artwork first of all. So have some thought out artwork, so you have a really nice banner that's informative and it's not just a random picture. Ideally, your artwork should, if you're a personal brand, should have a photo of yourself so people can really start being familiar with you. Should have the name of your business and a tagline if you have one of what you do, or if you don't have a tagline that says that clearly, then just put some text on there that says in a nutshell what it is that you do and how regularly that you're uploading your videos, if that's not too scary of a thing to have on your artwork. So that's really important. And then just 2 other things I would say initially to focus on, and that's have a trailer. That's because a trailer will automatically play for any new visitors. So that's a really key part. And just consider your YouTube homepage like you would consider the homepage of your website. And the thing with YouTube is it doesn't automatically populate its homepage. So I get a lot of people that say, but I've got videos on my channel, and yet they're not, you can't see them unless you click into the video tab. And that's because it doesn't automatically populate. You have to actually go in and go onto your homepage and select for videos to show up. You have to physically do that on your homepage, because the thing is, people will come onto you if they found a video of yours and they've clicked over to have a look at your channel. You've got between 3 and 10 seconds to hook that person, and if there's nothing there to hook them, then they're literally just going to think, oh well, that was just a one-off piece of content that was kind of useful for me, and they'll just disappear off to the Netherlands, nether regions of YouTube, and find someone else that can give them the content that they're looking for, which is a shame, because you would probably be able to be the person to do that. So that's kind of in a nutshell. There's a lot I could talk about, but trying to keep it not too complicated. I would say think about that homepage, your artwork, your trailer, and actually having some content on your homepage that people can find and look at.
I've got this very specific problem with YouTube.
Okay.
I think it's because I'm one of those people who, like, I never know what I want to do. Like, I've always got so many plans in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And I've sort of avoided putting loads of business stuff on YouTube, because in the back of my mind, I've got this like deep yearning to be like a really brilliant, like, creative YouTuber. So, you know, like doing art and crafty things, because it's what I do as a hobby. But it's not necessarily my business. So I think part of me just holds off putting anything work related on YouTube, because I think, no, because like one day I'm going to be like an art YouTuber.
And so that's holding you back from doing anything on YouTube for your business.
Yes.
So first of all, that's a brilliant hobby to have, and it is one of the big areas that YouTube has some huge channels in, and it's any kind of crafting is brilliant, and it really does attract a lot of people. But you can just have a second channel. You don't have to have the one channel. Yeah, you can have as many channels as you want. So just set up another channel for you, just for your business.
Done.
And then put everything in there.
That's my big lesson for the day.
Good. So that's an easy one. And I would say when also the other thing is to take it on just a little bit further, talking about your channel, is to try and have a actual playlist strategy. So first of all, have playlists, but also then to understand that a playlist isn't just a filing system, and that it is actually a way of leading your viewers down different paths and helping them to understand your content. And it's a real searchable thing. So the playlist has its own URL for a start. So YouTube recognises that as an entity on its own. So the title that you give to your playlist is a searchable title, the same as your video would be. So think about making that a title which is searchable. It's got those keywords without keyword stuffing it. It's still got to sound authentic. And also don't make your playlist huge. So you think, right, I'm going to put every single video that's to do with this area of my business in that one playlist, because the purpose of a playlist is, first of all, obviously it auto plays the next video. So once someone's found a video, they can then, you know, you don't have to then encourage them to click on another video. It'll just also play another video with a similar theme to the one that they've already started watching. But also then they'll see, okay, there's 12 videos in this playlist. And then they might actually, if they're having a viewing binge, they might actually then watch all of those. But if they see that number's like 112, they'll be like, oh, well, I'll just watch the first one and then I'll click off somewhere else because I haven't got time to sit through 112 videos. So actually keeping your playlist number of videos fairly controlled in that way, and just set up, if you've still got lots of videos in that same category, just create another playlist. So playlists are one of those areas that really gets misunderstood, I think, quite a lot of the time by people that are new to coming onto YouTube.
See, as a consumer, I love playlists.
Excellent. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I often have YouTube when I'm doing like crafty stuff, or when I'm, I don't know, spring cleaning or something like that, I'll have like a random YouTube playlist just rolling over, and I like not having, especially if I'm painting or doing something messy, but I don't go and then click on another video, whereas the playlist just takes me through and keeps me company. Oh,
that's brilliant. I love that. That's really good. It's nice to hear that as well. So yeah, and so you're passively absorbing that content then, which is really interesting, because actually statistically, people, when they're consuming YouTube videos, it's more of a, what you would call a lean in experience. So someone's actually at their desk searching for something, or they're just on their tablets, quite often watching something at the same time as watching TV. So they're more likely to switch away if they don't get that immediate fix. So that's an interesting way that you're consuming that's slightly different to the average, of course.
Of course. I think I kind of see YouTube in the same way I see podcasts. Like, I listen to both of them.
Right, yeah. No, that's
I'm much more less likely to go and sit and watch through a whole list of videos, because I'm always thinking, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this. Whereas if it's something I can just listen to, then I can go do this and that and feel comfortable that I'm not wasting all my time.
Yes, yeah, I actually quite often have my iPad set up on my desk, and I'll just be playing, because I guess when you're a business owner, you're just thirsty to just learn everything as fast as you can. So we're doubling up. So yeah, I have mine. I'll have it playing just on my iPad next to whatever I'm doing. So then if it catches my attention, I can watch. But yeah, I can still carry on multitasking, as we all do.
So with regards to the playlist, do you recommend curating other people's videos onto your playlist too, or not? Yeah, absolutely. That's a really, really good strategy. So I have a playlist which is, I can't remember what I've actually named that playlist now, but anyway, it's kind of like my examples of other videos that have been done really well in the kind of niche that I work around. And the reason why, and they're not exactly competitors, but as I move on, I'll probably end up bringing, in fact, I might have some competitor videos in there, I can't remember now. But the reason why that's actually a really good strategy is because YouTube rewards you as a channel for keeping the viewer within the platform of YouTube. So the fact that someone then might watch all of your videos, and then they might have had enough of watching what you've got to offer and want to still stay in that category of video, but watch something else. So if that comes through your channel, then YouTube will kind of give you a brownie point for them coming out of your channel but remaining in YouTube. So it's a really good strategy to have. So if you've brought the viewer in from outside of YouTube, that's excellent. They love that. And then if you've kept that viewing binge going, and then you've moved them on to carry on, go look at other stuff within YouTube, then that's really good. What you don't want to do, which you have to be really careful of, obviously it kind of depends what your purpose around having a YouTube channel is, but if you want to grow your channel, then you want to really strategically think about how often that you're encouraging people to exit YouTube. So you wouldn't, at the end of every video, have, for example, your call to action, go visit my website, or most of the time it's going to be go look at your website, but you might say go look at Facebook or some other platform. You want to be really careful how frequently you give that kind of call to action, because the more frequently someone is leaving YouTube from your channel, then that is really going to
push your channel down the priority list as far as YouTube choosing your videos to surface in suggestions. They really want the videos that are holding the viewer within YouTube. So by having other videos from other creators on your channel, that's a really good way of ensuring that the viewer really has a really long viewing session in YouTube, which really it helps the algorithms with YouTube, if that makes sense.
That's really interesting, because we're sort of trained to always be driving people back to our website. So
yeah,
go get my lead magnet, go do this, go read that.
Yeah,
but actually that's not the right move for YouTube.
Yeah, not consistently, because what you want to do is you want to have them do that once. So the idea is on a business channel, you do want to convert that viewer onto your list, but you only want that to happen once, and then once you've got them on your list, then you continue to nurture them in that and with those strategies. But if you're doing that all the time, then you've got the possibility then of even viewers that are already on your YouTube, on your email list, of continuing to disappear and say, that blog's on her website, I'm going to go have a look at that as well. So you actually want to suggest that they go and look at another one of your videos. So that's why using the cards in your videos are really useful. So the cards are where, while you're watching the video, there's like text that pops up at the top of the screen suggesting another video. You can actually also have polls in there and ask your viewers questions. And that's just another method of retaining the viewer. And if what they're currently watching isn't quite doing it for them, then you're putting up suggestions of other videos that they might want to go and watch within your own videos. So you're kind of prolonging that viewing that they're having on your channel during that viewing session that they're having.
So it's quite like when we're blogging, doing the whole backlink thing where we're driving people to our own archives.
Yeah, definitely.
A version of that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
I'm glad I'm recording this, so I like capture all of the notes, because YouTube really isn't my forte.
Well, blogging isn't my forte either, as you know. So it's good that we're not all experts at all things, because we can't be, can we? That's why it's good to cross-fertilise our knowledge like this. So hopefully I'm just thinking what else I can tell you. There's so much I can tell you, but I don't want to overwhelm.
Well, I'd like to just touch on the other platforms that we can create video on, because I know like Facebook and Instagram particularly are both growing in the world of video. So do you have any tips, but also are there any particular rules and guidelines for creating video on these different platforms?
Yeah, so everywhere is pushing video. So part of your overall video strategy should be to be putting video out on whichever platforms you're focusing on. And the thing is, all the platforms, they do have different ways of operating. So the viewers are, for a start, consuming the information slightly differently. So obviously on Instagram, people are going on there with a different mindset as they would be if they're searching for something in YouTube. And likewise with Facebook, people are, they're just scrolling through quite quickly. So you've got like 3 seconds of time before whatever post or video is going to just fly from the bottom of the screen to the top. So you've got to which is why video performs well, is because we are naturally drawn to, as humans, to a moving image. So when there's something moving, we're more likely to stop and pay attention to it. But there are some things specifically across. So if we look at the main 5 social media platforms, being YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, they all have slightly different durations of video that works well. They all have, some of them share the same ratios, but there are differences, which I'm sure you already know, whether you're having landscape or square video. So to summarize that, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter currently are all working best with square ratio video rather than landscape. YouTube is still landscape is the best, and YouTube have high definition, whereas the other platforms don't. Well, in fact, I say don't. Snapchat does have high def, but they are on the vertical, so it's exactly the same ratio as the standard landscape, but in vertical. And then also the best duration of the video. So at the moment, YouTube is doing really well. 6, 8, 12 minutes, kind of like longer form video is performing really well. Whereas Facebook feels like it's kind of where YouTube was a few years ago. Well, in fact, even as little as 2 years ago, where 1 to 2 minutes is performing really well. And with Instagram, I would say, although it can now take up to 60 seconds, I think actually sticking to the 10 seconds of video is better, because anyway, it kind of chops it into 10-second chunks. So if you keep your content to 10 seconds, that's really good. Twitter is operating best at 45 seconds. And Snapchat is the one that only brings it in at 10 seconds at a time. Instagram can go up into more than 10 seconds at a time, but I think still sticking to that 10 to 30 seconds maximum for Instagram. And I was actually just putting all of this into a sheet to give that. I thought, oh, well, that might be useful if your viewers want to just have sort of noting down all these numbers and things that I'm just rattling off and just look at it. So I'll give that to you, and then you can add that maybe into your show notes if people do want to kind of have a look at what the best ratios and durations are. And in this as well, I've got some notes on the demographics across those platforms as well, so you can have a look at the age groups, the male-female splits, and kind of see how those percentages work to make sure that actually you are prioritizing the platform that would have the most of relevant audience to what your business is. But yeah, it's quite dry to just rattle those off. So I've actually got a couple of pages there that then you can have and go through that. So it's a bit you don't have to go back and try and rewind and listen to all of that data that I just reeled off.
No, that's perfect. So if everyone visits the show notes over on dialpaddy.com, you will find a handy little downloadable from Justina that summarises all of that for you.
Excellent.
Okay, so just a quick question on the Instagram video. So is that like as in Instagram in the feed, or is that Instagram stories?
It's both. I think Instagram, if you want, having it in the stories is a good way to just like promote what you've got coming up. If you have a slightly longer form then in the actual feed, because you don't want to put all the effort into making a video and then obviously come and go and be lost. So using the stories as just a promo, say, oh, I've done this and it's up or it's going up, and then just kind of building a bit of hype over something that you've got there that will just remain on your feed in the stories is the better way to do it. And you can do that on Facebook stories as well, because they have that functionality as well. But yes, having that square is the difference. You can upload, obviously you don't have to upload square to Instagram, but it maximizes what you've done. Or if you really can't do square, then just make sure whatever action you're having is within the square, because then on the previews it is that square that gets seen. And if you've got vital information on the side, then that'll get lost and viewers will lose their attention and won't want to keep watching. That's all right. In fact, I've had a series of so one of my clients is Tate Lyle, and so we do a lot of recipe videos, and we actually started off doing videos in that really famous tasty style, overhead hands doing the quick actions and showing the entire recipe. We started off doing those, and then that was probably about 2 years ago that we started, and obviously they have a big budget in relation to small businesses, and so a lot of effort and time and money was put into understanding the performance of all the videos, and we trialed and did split testing, and at the moment the videos for Instagram are doing really well at 15 seconds. So what we do there is create a 15-second version of that video, and it's much more the shots are much tighter on the Instagram versions as well. So that's something else to think about when you're going through that, when you're thinking about how you're framing for Instagram, is that on the feed, people are what they're seeing is even smaller than once they've clicked on it. So not having your detail too small on screen, having it quite large, which can be strange when you're first filming or editing it. But that's something to think about. And actually, when I edit videos for social media, I actually do shrink the screen down. So when I'm editing it, I'm only seeing it small, or I keep checking and bringing it down small to make sure it still works in that really kind of small size that people are viewing. Because you've got to, now that I know there's been this across a lot of marketing, there's the tagline, video first, but even before that, it's mobile first now. So everyone has to think about making sure that what they're doing, what they're creating, works when someone's viewing it on a really small screen.
So would you recommend that people create different videos for different platforms, or can they create one video and then edit it and play around with it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I recommend. So you pick your primary platform and create your original video for that platform, and then re-edit it to fit the other platforms, whether that's then changing the duration of the video, the cropping in and making some of the frames larger, and then changing the duration. So I said duration, the duration and the ratio are the two main things. And then that will then make it really optimized for each of the platforms.
So if we're starting to dabble with all of this stuff and we want to do it ourselves,
do
you have any recommendations for tools or anything like that that aren't a massive investment? Because I know that a lot of video editing stuff can be quite pricey.
It can be, yes. So if you're working off of a Mac, I mean, just using iMovie is really good, and it has a lot of functionality anyway that can take you a long way. You can probably continue editing on that software until you've really become quite proficient, and by that stage then your videos are already making you money to feel like it's justified, or you have reached a stage where actually you don't want to do the editing yourself anyway and you outsource it. So I think iMovie is brilliant. So if you're not on a Mac, then the Camtasia is the one which is most recommended, and that is, I can't remember exactly how much it is now, but I think it is in the region of about £100. I haven't looked at it in a while, but it is a one-off payment. It's not a regular fee, and Camtasia is really a very good editing platform as well. But saying that, there are loads of free ones that you can. There's apps as well. So if you want to edit on your phone or on your tablet, then you can download these free apps. The functionality obviously is reduced, but if you're just starting out and you only want to do something really basic, just trimming the front and the back, then you can. And I have actually got a few suggestions that I researched not that long ago, and I can add that into the sheets that you'll have ready to download anyway if people want to have a go at looking at some of those apps.
This sounds like it's going to be an excellent freebie. I can't wait.
Good. Hopefully.
Yeah, and I think that sort of brings us on to an important point in that, yes, there's all of this stuff you can do with video, but don't let that be a source of procrastination. It's better just to start with one thing and then play around and do more as you get more confident and more comfortable with doing all of this stuff. It's like any kind of content.
Yeah, and the great thing now about that's really helpful with that is with there being the functionality to do live streaming, which everywhere practically, then that's a really good initiation into seeing yourself on screen and getting used to looking into the lens of the device that you're filming on, and getting used to what you're saying, getting used to hearing your own voice saying, delivering content, and because obviously it's all you're focusing on with live video is your delivery and your content, whereas with pre-recorded videos then you've got that whole you've got a whole other layer because you want to do the editing, and then there's the preparation for it is more can feel more intimidating, because then you might start to go down the scripting avenue, and then you're stopping and re-recording, so that didn't go right, and then having another go and another go, whereas with live it's done. So it's a good way of getting slowly into the feeling of into the mindset that actually you can do it, and then encouraging you to then do pre-recorded as well as live. But I do think live is a really important part of your overall video strategy, and really nailing doing your live videoing is really important as well.
As a video watcher, I think I am really drawn to those videos that have that kind of live vibe, even if they are pre-recorded, because I don't know if it's just me or if it's a bit of a trend that people are feeling more drawn to that sort of unfiltered, slightly messy, rough and ready kind of thing, rather than these immaculate, perfect videos in beautiful sets and with auto cues and blow dries and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, I mean, Marie Forleo now has her own vlog side of her channel now as well. So there's definitely that leaning towards having that style of video as well. But it's still important to consider what's my viewer looking for, and what do they need, and is it appropriate to have a more polished video as well as having the more rough and ready. So you need to think about what's your viewer expecting to see. If you're saying that, you know, you're a multi-millionaire business and yet you're sat in a room that really doesn't look like it's a multi-millionaire's room doing really rubbish video, then it's a bit of a disappointment. And you know, that's the whole fact that that's not really matching the story can be put off, and it kind of how it does the opposite effect, and can make you feel like there's something not quite right. There's you're not getting the whole picture. It's not the full truth. But the not being perfect on screen and being vulnerable and admitting the things that you're finding challenging is a real thing, and it's called the pratfall. So having your imperfections on show as well, or saying, you know, this is something that I find really hard, and just being honest and bringing the authenticity out that way as well is something which, you know, we all love an underdog, and when you see someone trying, I think that's part of that. But yeah, it's a real thing, being imperfect. But you're absolutely right, people want to see the real authenticity behind videos, and not having it always so polished, but at the same time you don't want to be looking unprofessional. So it's just having that balance and using the right kind of video with the right message in the right place. So if it's like your main branding video, then the viewers want and expect to see something that's more polished. But when you're delivering training or when you're doing lives, then having, you know, you in your office setting, and sometimes without makeup, or, you know, then that's, people like that and they appreciate that as well. So I think it's all about just having it in balance and choosing the right thing for the right time.
So we hear a lot about people using video to shine online and to be more authentic and show the behind the scenes of their business. Do you have any tips for, I don't know, for bringing your personality into video when maybe you're not the most comfortable on camera, or it's not something you've done a lot of in the past?
yeah, so I guess we've kind of started on that, talking about that side of things, and by being authentic is showing that vulnerability. So I'd say for that person, you try and embrace that, and to understand that people can be actually really forgiving. So if you are saying, no, I'm just starting doing this whole video thing and I'm still really uncomfortable with it, so forgive me, but I really want you to know, to have this content that I'm about to give you, then actually people will find that really endearing, and will be drawn to you. And then if you're, in fact, I can give you, if I've just been writing out a sheet with how to be more relaxed in front of camera, so I can share that with you as well, if it might be useful to some of your viewers. But even simple things like having a glass of water on your desk when you're filming is really important. Try not to cough or clear your throat too much, because you can actually damage your throat doing that. And before you start filming, whether it's a pre-recorded or it's a live, actually doing some relaxation techniques, whatever works for you, whether that's just might be just having a cup of tea and a biscuit, or if you're into meditation or EFT, doing something along those lines to just calm yourself down before you start filming live or pre-recorded. And then probably the biggest thing is just regulating your breathing and trying to not race through everything that you're going to say. And if by doing those things, then your own natural personality has the chance to come out. So people can, when you're more relaxed and you're doing those, if you're setting yourself up in that way, then your own humour will have a chance to come forward, and and then you'll be your own way of describing things, the words that you use. All of that will have this opportunity to come to the surface, because you won't be, because you'll just be more relaxed. So just by being relaxed, it's natural that then the real you will shine through. I'd also say that if you're looking at wanting your branding, if that's something that you're interested in coming out through your videos, then consider what you're wearing. If you say, which actually should come quite naturally to most people, because generally personal brands tend to create a colour palette on their websites and in their branding that is a colour palette that they personally like anyway. So they'll probably have that kind of colour range in their wardrobe. So, if it's lots of bright things, and always just wear bright things. Or with me, generally it's navy, so I just always try and wear navy when I'm videoing. And you can think about things that you might have in your background, in your backdrop, that are maybe just giving that little hint of what you do. Or you've always got the one same thing that's there, that make it more, that show that it's you, or show that it's your personality, and making it relevant to what the subject matter is. So if you're a yoga teacher, then giving your videos on, when you're sat on the floor in your yoga pants is perfect, but if I did that, that might look a bit strange. So it's, letting the personality of you and your brand come forward in a relevant way, but by always just centering yourself and doing those relaxation techniques and being prepared for the video as well. And that's not but meaning having scripts, just having bullet points or keywords that would trigger the message that you've decided that you're about to deliver. So if you do have those blank moments, which we all have, and when I say all, I don't just mean you and I, but people that are famous and delivering, that are on the news, or they're presenters, they all go through those blank moments, but then they've kind of that they've rehearsed that, and their mouths will just keep going as their brains are thinking, oh, what's that I was meant to be saying? What's that next question I've got to ask? So just have those bullet points, so that if you do go blank, you can look down. And the thing is, I think people are sometimes feel worried that if they refer to notes, that it's going to look somehow unprofessional. But I mean, to me, that looks really professional. It shows that actually you've prepared what you're about to say. So by just pausing, and it's okay to sometimes not be speaking like I am now, 100 words to the minute, pausing and looking at your notes and like, oh yeah, that's what I want to say, and then carrying on. People don't mind that. And so yeah, having that preparation, a few notes jotted down on your key points and reminders of what you want to say in that video is a really good thing to have ready as well.
Those are all really brilliant tips, and I hadn't actually thought about the relaxation side of it, but I think that sort of stuff would really relate to podcasting as well, because I know when I've had a few of these interviews lined up, there have been a few where it's people that have been kind of cyber stalking for a while. So when they've agreed to come on the podcast, I've been like, oh my god, I have to be really cool, I have to be like the best interviewer, oh my god, what we're gonna do. And I've got a few more of that type of interview lined up, so I'll definitely be listening to your advice for those and see if that helps.
Yeah, that's it, because it's so, even when like now I've got so much that I want to say and I start saying it and get my going faster and faster, and then you get out of breath, and it's like, that's not the most attractive thing to do, and not the most productive thing to start getting out of breath and then going so fast that your mouth's going faster than your brain, and you're like, oh, and where was I, what was I about to say, and then you completely lose your thread. But then when you've done that, then you just take a moment and pausing, which is another thing that I say when you're doing pre-recorded video. It's fine, and live, you can pause, take a breath and smile, and then look at a note and go, right, okay, so now I'm going to say, and then carry on. But yeah, it's what we do especially when we're feeling a bit of pressure, whether that's just because there's a red light instead of a green light on your recording device, or it's someone that you're actually feeling intimidated over because they are your stalking person.
And I think another thing is that we never quite realise how fast we're speaking until we listen to it back.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same whether you're public speaking or on video or podcasting or whatever it is. I know a few years ago when I did a reading at my auntie's wedding, I was practicing it beforehand, and my granddad was like, you're talking really fast, like no one's going to understand what you're saying. But in my head it sounded like a completely reasonable pace, so I sort of had to practice reading it what seemed really slowly to me, but then actually it was a reasonable pace, because then when I heard it back later, people were like, yeah, we understood what you were saying, we could hear everything.
Yeah, that's really good. And that is really important. We should, when I'm doing professional voiceovers, I tend to allow 150 words per minute, and that is quite fast, but then that's with a professional voiceover. So when I'm recording voiceovers, I allow 150 words per minute, but they're so professional that they can actually produce that speed and it still sound coherent. But because I have to do draft voiceovers, and I try and do it at that speed, and honestly it just sounds ridiculous because I'm going through like that. But it's you'll be surprised when we're in conversation how quickly we can go. And news reporters and news presenters talk at about that speed, about 150, but we should aim at talking, if we can, actually at about 80 to 100 words a minute.
See, I think we're like disregarding all of that advice in this particular like yammering really quickly.
I know. I have to watch myself. I can talk really fast.
It's good though, it's all really valuable information. I think it's very relevant as we're all going to be strategizing and doing our new content plans and stuff as we head into the new year. Figuring out this video thing and figuring out how we can make it work for us is going to be a really helpful thing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something, if you haven't already started, that you need to just start looking at and experimenting with, and giving it a go in safe places where you feel like you can practice without judgment.
Well, one of my favourite things has been in Gemma Went's free Facebook group in Simply Smart Business. Every Friday there's the Friday live thing where everyone can just jump on and do a live about anything really, and it's just a way to practice being on camera. And that was a really big thing for me, because before joining that group I had never done a live stream, never made a video. The thought of being on camera was horrific to me, because I was like, no, I can't, I've got a wonky face, it's just but then after just weekly doing that one practice in a very small, very safe group, it just made it so much easier, and it's probably paved the way for me being able to do this now.
Yeah, that's it. I think if you can find somewhere that where you feel it's supportive and you can just not worry about, where you can start off really not worrying too much about the content, where it's literally the thing you're overcoming is just going live or hitting record. And just even if all you're doing is saying, hi, I've done it, I'm having a great day, have a good weekend, and bye. It's a way of just getting started. So yeah, and it is really good. And I think a lot of people that are starting out on that, especially those in Gemma's group, and I think there's a few others that have that as their thing on a Friday. You can wake up that day and that's the day that you need to be camera ready, and so you kind of make sure that you've washed your hair and put on something you don't mind people, you've got out of your pajamas and at least a top half.
Hats are for covering up hair that need to be washed.
That's exactly what hats are for.
Okay, so tell me, what is your biggest guilty pleasure and how do you weave it into your work?
Okay, so I do have guilty pleasure, and I'm sure you can probably guess what it is. Luckily, I can weave into my work. So it is planning and spreadsheets. So I am a bit of a planaholic. I love creating a good plan, but I do have to do that as part of the job as well. So that is kind of the thing that I would say is my guilty pleasure, because as a creative, it's not generally the thing that most people would associate me being able to do well or even enjoying. But I do love it. So yes, I make some lovely video content planning sheets and schedules and shot lists and every kind of list and plan you can imagine. There's lots of opportunities, in fact, in video to do that, and I take them all. That's definitely my guilty pleasure, and luckily I can weave it into my work.
See, what you're not telling people though is that you make plans and then remake the same plan and remake the same plan.
Yeah, I'm quite good at making a plan and then making it look pretty, because I am creative, I do like it to look nice as well. So I might then put it into a flow chart, or I quite like all of the functionality in making spreadsheets or Excel look good. So even if it's in there, I'll do that. But then I like to maybe sometimes bring it out into a PowerPoint, or have make a video, making those plans come to life even more. Yes, but yeah, that's my guilty pleasure, and I'll try and keep it under control. But when I have to do it for a client, it's what it is.
Hands are tied.
Exactly, my hands are tied. But people do get very impressed about, wow, this is the nicest spreadsheet I've ever seen.
Okay, so where can we find you online?
For my personal brand work, my website is justinarosu.com, and on Facebook I'm Justina Rosu Video, and on Instagram I'm also Justina Rosu Video. On Twitter I am purple_SQ, but that's because my corporate company is called Purple Square Productions, and that one is still just in there, so under that guise. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And YouTube is again just my name, Justina Rosu. So I'd love your viewers to go along and check out my YouTube channel if they feel so inclined. But I'm pretty much over all social media, everywhere. Just search my name.
And I know in January you're launching your video bootcamp, aren't you?
I am indeed. So I've been, I've had some soft launches running that program this year, and it's been fantastic and it's brilliant. So I'm doing a bit of a slightly bigger launch, having then tweaked it and polished it up a bit, and that's going to be in January. Date to be decided yet, but if you come and find me on social media and sign up wherever, then you'll get to hear about it, and you'll see it hopefully, because it'll be plastered everywhere at launch time.
Definitely. So if you've had your video interest piqued and you would like to learn more and learn how to do it better, then definitely follow Justina for more tips and more advice, because she's got it all.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me. It's been really a good one, because I know that I've got a ton of things that I can take away from this, and I'm sure that all of our listeners will as well. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could leave me an honest review on iTunes. As a little thank you, the first 150 people to leave me feedback will get access to Conquer Your Content Plan, my exclusive workbook designed to help you dream up, draft, and leverage strategic standout content in next to no time. See you next week.